So what I want to talk about today is Kum Nye. Kum Nye it's a form of yoga, essentially, and was de- developed in Tibet. Who knows when, but in the long past. Was brought to the West by a man called Tarthang Tulku. He was born in 1934 and had a formal and proper education as a Lama in Tibet. He then moved to California in 1971 and has been teaching Kum Nye from there with a company called Dharma Publishing. However, the aim of Dharma Publishing is to promote Buddhism and Tibetan Buddhism. I personally, I've done Kum Nye for 35 years. I was trained in it at the Karuna Institute in Devon between 1991 and 1995, and have been using it ever since. Kum Nye is basically it's a slow movement yoga. So the idea is to do all the exercises as slowly as possible. Now, if I have one criticism of Kum Nye as it is being presented in the West, it is that it's too connected to Tibetan Buddhism. For instance, there are a number of videos on YouTube about Kum Nye, and yet, to be honest, all these people want to talk about is meditation, as if Kum Nye was a form of meditation. Now, I'm not denying that Kum Nye certainly has its meditation roots, but for me, I mean, yoga. People don't go to yoga in the West to meditate. They go because they want to do things like improve their balance, improve their posture, stretch a lot. Um, and these things all apply to Kum Nye as well. What I would like to see, my vision of Kum Nye is to take it, separate it completely from the meditation aspect and to have it simply as a form of Western exercise, essentially, which I would say yoga is too. Um, for me, Kum Nye is absolutely amazing, and this is why I get so frustrated that people only want to see it within its Buddhist context because it has so much to offer to so many Western people. It is incredibly good at stretching the back, incredibly good at basically it produces what are known as involuntary movements. Now, there are other ways of accessing involuntary movements. I personally learned to do so through bioenergetics, and this was back in 1989 and 1990. Um, The other way that is well known in the modern world is TRE. However, TRE are they have particular exercises to access involuntary movement, and they seem obsessed with the copyright on those exercises. They don't seem to want to share them with anybody. All TRE exercises are essentially lying down, and therefore they're accessing involuntary movements in a very different way because the majority of Kum Nye is standing up. Um, for me, accessing these involuntary movements, which are essentially a trauma response to major traumas in the bodies of mammals. So if a human or a deer get hit by a car, but don't not hurt that much, but definitely hurt, no bones broken, but a lot of trauma. Um, the response of the body is to shake, like involuntary shaking that is not um, controlled by the consciousness of the body. Unfortunately, modern medics will tranquilize people when they show these after trauma, and yet the evidence shows that the involuntary movements are very healing, and they're very healing for trauma. Now, psychologists, I think, would genuinely agree that we're full of trauma, full of trauma from we're full of trauma from our past, and essentially, in order to fix that trauma, involuntary movement is one of the best ways, and therefore Kum Nye is really good at healing trauma, and that is certainly something that I would agree with. Um, I was hit in the head with a machete once, about 20 years ago, and some of the trauma from that has very much come out while doing Kum Nye. And while that can be very scary at the time, it passes, and it passes very fast. It's scary at the time, but a minute later, I was feeling much better. So yes, what I'm hoping to do is to show various Kum Nye exercises and comment on them. I'm hoping to do videos in Spanish as well as in English, so I'm bilingual, based in Spain. I'm very interested in trying to teach Kum Nye online. I'd love to do it here where I live in Merida in Spain as well. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up and follow me, please.